idea how important you are. No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road? No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road cops? They bust them on the head with closed fists and hard kicks. A bunch of night sticks trying to end this life quick. The kicks turn to stomps. They mace them and tase them. Drag them out the car by his dread, tuck the days them. Killing them but telling us they should have got a ticket. Traffic stop, drug stop, specify which is it. With every single witness saying he never resisted. Imaginary balls and ankle socks, must have missed it. Cardiac arrhythmia, dehydration. We even heard about positional asphyxiation. The bruises and the scarring, the suffering and pain. 30 minutes past before the ambulance came. I find it all insane. The beat and kill for sport. It took 5 months to get the autopsy report. The coroner, the cops, and the fucking state's attorney knew my cousin was dead before they put him on the gurney. No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road? No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road cops? Deceiving the public is something closer to impossible. Phony autopsy, but we know it wasn't logical. Highly improbable, undetermined manner. I like the way you doctored up the calls across the scanner. Your Signal 13 sounded staged and unfinished. Your life was being threatened, not a single fucking blemish on any of the officers involved in the murder of Tyrone West. Man, that shit is unheard of. Let's go a step further. Examine all the evidence. 10 lying cops against the truth of all the residents. Cell phone footage, live interviews. I'm extra disappointed in the puppets from the news. Afraid to dig deeper, their information shoddy. 5 whole days until my family saw his body. No statement from the cops, but they spoke with their attorney. They know they killed my cousin when they put him on the gurney. No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road cops? No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road cops? They didn't notify my family, we saw it on the news. The one that saw a green Mercedes Benz and got confused. They talking about a man dying in police restraint. She saw her tag numbers and it caused her to fake. That can't be my brother Ty, I was just with him. Not even 30 minutes before he became a victim. She had a funny feeling, kinda like a sixth sense. Her back started aching, her muscles got tense. She couldn't understand all the pain she was going through. Like they ripped the soul out of his body, he was showing you everything that happened to him. Transmigration, he made you feel his pain before his final destination. They took away his father, cousin, grandson, and brother, uncle and nephew, but I feel sorry for my mother, cause she became his mom when my aunt passed away. We're stronger as a family, but she cries every day. No pity. My message to the Citizens Committee, who's the biggest lawbreakers in the city. Full of corrupt politicians, red tape, roadblocks, criminals, no spots. What about these road cops? Throw up your hands like you're under arrest. Hell no. Throw up your fists like you want protest. Hell yeah. Throw up your hands like you're under arrest. Hell no. Throw up your fists like you want protest. Hell yeah.
Hello?
We've been fighting a long time. We've all lost so very much. So many loved ones gone. You are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around. We're at the brink. Above all, stay alive. You have no idea how important you are. Are you listening to that? You are the resistance.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday. Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday number 374. I'm going to turn it over to Tawanda.
Like it crispy. You don't like it this crispy.
You're muted, Tawanda. Unmute yourself, Tawanda. You're muted, Tawanda. Unmute yourself. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, mic check.
Mic
So,
check.
If anybody that's not talking right now, please mute your phone if you haven't done it already. So I want to welcome everybody to West Wednesday tonight. Like my brother Ben just said, this is week 374, day 2,618. So you just saw that video, and it was a video that my cousin made that we shared many times before, but the video is real. It basically told you everything that happened to my big brother Tyrone West. Like, and it's just really sad. Like, so we've been out here and we're going to continuously be out here, especially given the news, the recent news on the Breonna Taylor's case. It's just sad. Like, I mean, it's just really sad. And then they only charged one officer, I heard, and then he got a bail for $15,000 or some foolishness. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. And that's just like yesterday when I was on the panel, and I'll give you a big shout out to my sister, Jill Carter, Senator Jill Carter, who I call a people champ because she's trying to get laws in place to basically make a big difference. And we definitely, until we change these lynching laws, unfortunately, nothing's going to change. So I was just letting them know, like, it's just hard being black or brown in America anyway, because I had one FOP member say, well, you guys don't know how tough a police officer job is. I urge you guys to come in, on a ride along with us and come into the district. And I'm like, oh, hold the hell up. You don't know how hard it's being black. Try being black and try taking that badge off, riding around and nobody knows it's not you. Because I think about Detective Cedar, who was one of their own, who basically they murdered. So, the fight is real. Speaking of hearing, tomorrow I will be testifying again, and it's against when I say the officer killer right. So we're gonna see what happens. Like, I'm just, to be honest, I'm sick of the Doug and Pony show, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to talk about reopening these cases, revisiting, revising, and reopening these cases, man. That's what it's all about. Like, literally, because you think about all the cases that was closed, especially Anthony Anderson, and they just came up on his 8-year commemoration, because I won't call it an anniversary because it's nothing to celebrate about your loved one being murdered, but nobody was held accountable, and his was deemed a homicide. How do you justify a homicide? Like my sister, Kevin Cooper's mom said. Like, she said, how can you justify a homicide? You can't. Greta Willis, I'm sorry, I got a lot on my mind. I had a long, stressful day, so finally I can boost her. Because there's a whole lot going on. So, but I'm honored tonight to have several guests, and we're gonna be respectful to each other. We're gonna attack the issues, but I call this the King and Queen show tonight, and they're talking about, like, literally giving back and changing things. I'm honored tonight to have Dr. Lawrence on here. He's gonna be the first one up. I also have in Q my beautiful queen sister, Stephon Clark's grandmother. She's going to read her beautiful poem that she was supposed to read in D.C. And it was a reason that Al would not let her read that poem, because had she would have read that on the stage, like all the family members called, I had a green too, and her beautiful daughter made this poem up. But that's why I'm anti-Al Sharpton. I call him Al Sharpner, because he think he's sharp as a pencil. I know his name's Sharpton, but he thinks he's one of those slick. He likes to just write things off and all these reforms, but never holding nobody accountable. And I don't, like I said, to really badmouth somebody, but if you're using our family's pain for your gain, you're a sick individual. And that's what I think about a lot of these jokers, that we want accountability. Like, Stephon Clark was literally murdered in his grandmother's backyard. And thank God she's a beautiful queen. She's a fighter. She inspires me in every way. She's another one of my sheroes. I had many sheroes, and she is definitely, truly one of my sheroes. Like, so I'm honored to have her, but I'm going to bring up, so we're talking about, like, literally giving back. Like, we can talk about police brutality all day, and that's what we're going to do, because we're trying to change things, but I want to uplift us, right, because we definitely need some uplifting, some healing, so we need to take time. Like, I had my best friend on last week who started up West Wednesday, and she said, take some time to literally take care of yourself, and that's what we need to do. We need to take care of ourselves and our own personal way. If you need to get away from things for a while, or however, you need to take care of yourself. Remember, you come first, and you can't take care of nobody else if you don't take care of yourself, and that's mentally, physically, spiritually, literally on all levels. We have to keep in mind we have to take care of ourselves. Truly, I am my brother's keeper, but at the same time, we need to be our own keepers as well. Keep our safe space, our place of peace. Don't let nobody break in. If you feel like people are just piling up things on you, sometimes remove yourself. It's okay to remove yourself away from them. It's okay. So just take care of yourself. I love you guys. So we have a whole list of folks, like I said, my brother Dr. Lawrence. I have a poet. He writes beautiful, amazing poems. He's gonna bless us with something nice. He like when I say this brother is on point, like he writes police brutality poems, like all type of about just about. He's just really great. That's all I can say. No further. Like he is beyond great. Like he writes a lot of poems. And then I had my brother Marcus Garvey that he represents that red and black and green flag, and he's going to tell us about like an upcoming event what he's doing in the community. And as you know, we're blessed with our brother Boom, who's on here, who gives back. He got the 300 gangsters going on, and he's always there. Like Boom checks on me no matter where I go at. Boom is like, sis, where you at? You good? Like he does that not only with me, he does it with Kelly. He takes care of the queens. He does it with our sister Angela Winder, who does a lot of community. So any sister like with Charlene, like he does it with all the sisters. He makes sure the queens are taken care of. So no further ado, I'm going to start the show off by bringing our panel show off by bringing up our first guest, and that's Dr. Lawrence. I'm honored to have this brother here tonight. Mic check.
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 And brother, Dr. Lawrence, can you let everybody know where you are calling from, like where you joining us from, what part of the world you're in, and what you're doing? And as everybody come up, you can let everybody know, like let our listening audience know what part of the world you're in right now and what you're actively doing in your community, and just share. All right. Mike.
All right. Peace to everybody. Again, I'm Lawrence Brown. I'm right now in Madison, Wisconsin. Came out here to try to grow, become an administrator, but miss Baltimore, love Baltimore, and I actually hope to be back real soon. Peace to the family of Breonna Taylor. Peace to the family of Stephon Clark. Peace to the family of Tyrone West. Peace to the family of Freddie Gray, and peace to the family of Corinne Gaines. This is a day where, once again, we're mourning. I think the way that this system, we know it, but it does hurt when our families of our loved ones, they don't get the justice they need. But it feels good to be connected with you all today, especially the members of families who sought justice for their loved ones. And I'm very glad to be here. Thank you, Tawanda. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, see my brother. And I just heard you got an upcoming book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. My book comes out in January. It's called The Black Butterfly, The Harmful Politics of Race and Space in America. And basically, I really dive into the way that Baltimore City is really the heart of American apartheid, and the way that rioting, basically, rioting is a long part of Baltimore City's history. And you got to start, the Civil War started down in Fort Sumter, South Carolina, but the first bloodshed actually took place in Baltimore on Pratt Street, the Pratt Street riot in 1861. April 9th is when the Civil War began. April 19th is when the Pratt Street riot took place. And Baltimore had this nickname, Mob Town, because it's had so many uprisings, riotings that took place over time. Really, you got the Holy Week uprising after the assassination of Dr. King, April 4th, 1968. And then, of course, you have April the 27th, 2015, after the murder of Freddie Gray by the police in Baltimore as well. So that history of the legacy of rioting, of looting, of uprising in Baltimore, it really goes deep, because Baltimore was a city that was engaged in the slave trade, 2 slave trades, It was receiving Africans from Africa in the transatlantic slave trade, and it was a part of the domestic American slave trade, shipping black people as cargo down to cities like Mobile, Alabama, and New Orleans, Louisiana. And so I talk about the way that Baltimore has a long legacy of historical trauma, of uprooting black people, uprooting black communities, and then also the way that it helped create segregation in urban areas, and it exported that segregation around the city to places like St. Louis, Chicago, Atlanta. So Baltimore is really at the heart of the American story of American apartheid. And then over time, that racial segregation led to hyper-segregation, which we can see on the map as the white L and the black butterfly. And that's a term that I created back in 2015 after listening to Kendrick Lamar's album To Pimp a Butterfly. It made me think about, how something as beautiful as a butterfly can be pimped, can be exploited. And so I wrote that down, basically put this book together, and I'm excited for people to read it because I think it's going to really lay out the case for black neighborhood reparations, because the whole thing with hyper-segregation is that it leads to hyper-policing. So you have hyper-segregation, it leads to hyper-policing, and then research shows that when you have hyper-segregated communities, you have more excessive force complaints against police, and you have more fatal police shootings by police. So really it's the hyper-segregation that's at the root of hyper-policing. It leads to more complaints, more shootings, more murder by police. And so if we want to get to the root of that, we're going to have to deal with the whole fundamental structure of American society.
Wow, that's awesome. So, can you tell everybody how, so when it's out, how can we obtain this book?
Absolutely. You can get it at Red Emma's. That's one place, but I'm working with a couple of black bookstores to see if I can get it placed in their locations as well. I want to promote black bookstores as much as I can. But I think it'll be in a lot of stores. It'll be in a lot of the regular stores. I think it's on Barnes & Noble's website if you want to go there. I'm not going to mention the big online retailer. It's on their website too, but I ain't going to promote them. And it's on the Johns Hopkins University website as well. They're the one printing it, and it's for a reason. There's a reason that we wanted, the editor and I, we met one day and talked about how, because I'm talking about Johns Hopkins in the book, they can't dismiss it because it's being put out by Johns Hopkins University Press. So we're using, I think, their platform to really sort of highlight not just Johns Hopkins, but definitely we go in on them, but we go in on the city of Baltimore. We go in on white neighborhood associations, white churches, white real estate agents, I think I said white churches already. All of the ways in which the white developers, the Roland Park Company, the Forest Park Company, they developed these communities up in North Baltimore with racially restrictive covenants that blocked black people so they couldn't live in those communities. Bolton Hill, Mount Washington, a lot of those communities that are though they're exclusive now, were practitioners of racism 100 years ago, 80 years ago, and that really helped create the environment that's in Baltimore today. So really calling out white neighborhoods, white churches, all of the players, all of the folks, and really laying out that history so that people understand very clearly why there's a case not just for reparations from the federal government, but reparations from the city of Baltimore itself.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Ben, do anybody on the panel want to ask our brother any questions or any comments for our brother, the doctor?
I definitely got a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, brother.
Just as you said, and that's the thing that we are on in our nation about the violations, what you stated about with the reparations with Baltimore and the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, with you making that statement and us looking at that information, aren't we able to take it a little bit further and bring humanitarian violations against the United States and Baltimore with the United Nations?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could. I mean, banks, insurance companies. I mean, there's hardly any philanthropy. There's hardly any entity in America, and and in some cases internationally, that wasn't involved in some form or fashion in the oppression of black people and black neighborhoods. So yes, I think we have to take it as far as we can, because I don't think the federal government is going to be under Trump. We know the federal government ain't going to even hear a discussion about reparations. But I think we can make the city of Baltimore. I think the city of Baltimore under black leadership can be pressured a lot more heavily, and those are reparations that I think we can get a lot sooner. Not that we stop trying in those other areas, but I think we can't let cities off the hook. Right now, most reparations movement is focused pretty much on the federal government, and I'm saying that's good, but let's focus on these cities that played a role too.
Another question that I have, which you definitely stating that, by me not being labeled black, I'm a Moorish American, and when we did what we did against the United Nations, we seen that the problem is that no harm, no foul. Black people are not an identity, so it was like they needed people with nationalities like myself and white, people from countries with nationalities, because black lawyers and black people can't represent themselves because they're not an identity. Am I correct?
I mean, I'm not sure how that's treated legally, but I think at least what we could say is that, either whether you say black people or even what I try to do in my book is say black neighborhoods, to look at the way Sandtown was redlined.
Right, exactly.
Look at how Greenmount East was redlined by the city of Baltimore. So that's the other thing I think I try to say. It's not just black people, but black neighborhoods. Because I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. My fault. I'm listening.
No, because I think to your point, I say you can't make Black Lives Matter if you don't make black neighborhoods matter. So that's why I really try to push making sure we heal black neighborhoods, because that's where black people live, by and large.
In Baltimore, many don't even know why Sandtown is called Sandtown, and it was because the nationality community of the Moorish American community was from a base of sovereignty, and then they was extending that sovereignty to the blacks. But then, of course, Baltimore City administration came and locked up all the Moorish Americans, and that's why the reason Sandtown is demised the way it is to this very day. They had a nationality in this community.
Yeah, I mean, it's real crazy. I mean, I think one thing I talk about in my book is like when white immigrants came to Baltimore, Italians, Polish, Russian, Jewish people, when they came to Baltimore, they were being discriminated against too.
Exactly.
So, but they were able to become white. We
weren't
able to become white.
Exactly.
And they were able to go out to the suburbs.
That was 1912 when they became white. In 1912, the gentleman by the name of Walter Pleckler started Vital Records in Virginia. He actually did it in 1912, stripping the whites and the blacks of their due nationality.
Exactly. So that's why I try to tell the whole story, so that hopefully white people can see that at one point this system actually worked against them too. Because they weren't American. That was the whole issue, that you weren't American enough. But a lot of white people were able to change their last name. They were able to change their language. They were able to assimilate and acculturate. Having black skin, that type of acculturation and assimilation is not the same for us. So, but I think the big thing I try to say is that black spaces, black places, they have because if you remember, Mary Ann Lasanti, the delegate for Harford County, she called PG County a nigger district last year. Then you had Trump, who said that Baltimore was a rat and rodent infested mess where no human being would want to live. And he said that regarding the late great Elijah Cummings, congressman. And so I think I try to lift up the way in which you have both Democrats and Republicans they both demonize black spaces. And I think it's that spatial racism, the racism against black neighborhoods that a lot of times we're not accounting for. It's not just racism against black people, it's racism against where black people live.
Lawrence, I got a question for you. I wanted to know, in the book, how granular do you go in terms of identifying which organizations in Baltimore participated in the slave trade that are still around today? And also, I wanted to know what your vision for reparations for black people is and how you see that being played out, especially coming from the city.
Hey, sis.
Yeah, I think I don't spend a lot of time actually identifying specific entities involved in
We stayed up. We stayed up. We good. I'm on a Zoom. I'm in
Oh,
chat.
yeah. So I don't know that I identify. I don't know that I talk about that as much.
You're muted, brother. Can you unmute yourself? There you go. Keep going.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying that there are two books by Ralph Clayton where he deals with slavery in Baltimore and he deals with slave trade in Baltimore. So I think his books really try to deal with that. I think what I try to deal with in my book, the entities I really name are those that are dealing with the people who were engaged in racial zoning, racially restrictive covenants, the people that did the redlining. I give all the receipts and all the names for them because I think people look at slavery and they think that that's the only thing. And my thing is there's a lot of stuff after slavery that needs to be highlighted just as much. And I forgot your second question.
Second question was, how do you view reparations for black people, especially coming from city governments?
Right. So again, the concept is black neighborhood reparations. So the way that my plan is for Baltimore City to take 10% of the city budget and for the next 50, 70, 100 years, allocate 10% of the city budget to the top 20%, the top 20 or so red line black communities. So right now the city budget's around right now the city's budget around $3 billion. So 10% of $3 billion is $300 million. So you take that $300 million, you split it among the top 15 or 20 red line black communities, and then you have a neighborhood council of 15 people that represent everybody in the community by gender, by age, by occupation, by orientation. You actually have people from all around the community, and then they decide how that money is to be used in their community. And so that's the plan that I have, that they're democratically elected. And so it's really a form of participatory budgeting, but it's making sure that money is allocated to help build those neighborhoods up.
Thank you. It looks like we have a question from Samira.
Actually, I wanted to comment on what you were talking about because first and foremost, it's good to see another more in the chat. That's awesome. But denationalization of black people in America and reparations, I think that they are an issue that go hand in hand. And for perspective, my name is Samira, right? And I work for the Yurok tribal government in California, which is the largest Indian tribe in Northern California, or in California, period.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten the opportunity to work with a lot of people that are a part of indigenous sovereignty and self-governance and what that looks like. And knowing that there is a bureau that has federally recognized certain tribes and also issued funds to these people on an annual basis, I don't think that the issue of reparations is as complicated as an issue as people make it. I think that a national designation for this group of people in America has to be made. I think a trust needs to be established. And I think that what you're describing for the neighborhoods are tribal councils, which are erected in place to do exactly what you're talking about. So I think like we can look to some of the systems that already exist to see for problems today.
I absolutely agree. Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Lawrence Brown. I want to know if you could touch on education, and I'll just point out one thing and then ask you about it. In the Baltimore area, the majority of jobs are unskilled and very low paid. I think 65% unskilled and low paid. And the city schools, in my opinion, sort of are guilty of educational genocide. The average reading level in ninth grade is around sixth grade, and young people aren't given the educational skills and tools and conceptual ideas that they should. So the way it strikes me is that for the business owners, the capitalists in Baltimore, the worse the schools are, the better it is for them, because they want a pool of people who only can qualify for semi-skilled and unskilled work. And if there are extra people in that category beyond the number of jobs, that helps the businesses too, because then they're going to have to compete for jobs. The boss can fire someone who tries to organize a union, and the next day many people will be trying to get that job because they're out of work. And so the worse the schools are, the more profitable businesses are that rely on low-paid, cheap labor. So I just want to know if you want to talk about that aspect of racism in Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I talk about in my book is that, first of all, the Baltimore City Public Schools started in 1829, which was during slavery. But there was a large free black community, and the Baltimore City Public Schools didn't actually admit black students at all. It wasn't segregated. They weren't even admitted until 1867, 2 years after the Civil War. So once black students were admitted, then they were racially segregated into black schools all the way until 1953, right before Brown versus Board of Education. So Baltimore City Public Schools totally excluded black students. Then they ran an apartheid school system until 1953. Then they had a sort of controlled desegregation. But at that time, when black students began attending white schools, you had many white people leave Baltimore City and go to the county because they didn't want to send their children to school with black students. So this is Baltimore City Public Schools is a school district that's an apartheid school district. It's been racially exclusive for a long time, and when it became majority black, it became systematically, deeply underfunded by the state, which provides 75% of the funding for the school district. So it's an apartheid school district all the way around. That's been, for black students, it's been a school district that's been terrible. I think what you're talking about is a dynamic where, especially with corporations, many corporations in Baltimore don't pay taxes through tax breaks, through pilots, payments in lieu of taxes. So when they don't pay taxes, the taxes don't go into the general fund to help pay for the schools. So that's really, I think, for me, that's the worst way. You can maybe call it a form of taxation genocide, where they're not contributing money to the schools that are needed to educate our children. In Baltimore City Public Schools, the youth, the students are 80% black. So that's a supermajority black school district that doesn't receive tax dollars from many of these majority white corporations to help pay for the education of black youth. And so, that's, I think, I try to give that analysis in my book to say that where I do talk about specifically the Baltimore City public school system and other systems in Baltimore as well, to try to give an overview of what's going on and what needs to be done.
I like to make a note on something. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
So I want to go back to the reparations topic, right? And then also, how that actually is sort of a joke. So anyway, if you look at, you just look at reparations agreement between Israel and the Federal Republic of Germany, okay? When Hitler was removed, or when he basically surrendered in 1945, agreement and reparations was allocated to the Jews in less than 10 years. This is 157 years from the Emancipation Proclamation, and African Americans have not received any form of reparations. So we got to think on that. And if you want to look at reparations being allocated, look at how the Jews got reparations. I mean, they invested in oil, but see, reparations was given to them because they were a nation. They were a country. We are a stolen people who don't even know where we're from, you know, so it's a lot that has to be it's a lot that has to be figured out when it comes to reparations for African Americans, because some of us, we may not even be African Americans for real. You understand what I'm saying? Other thing is this: United Nations, all right, was established partly by the United States of America. If you look today, anywhere that's talking about acts against humanity, United Nations is always pointing out Korea, African countries, everywhere else, but you never hear them saying United States of America has committed acts against humanity. We are in a position where we will never receive our due diligent justice from this nation, because this nation has put itself in a position to not give reparations unless we're ready to take it from it by any means necessary. So, for real, when we always talking, we go locally. We talk about police reform. The United States of America needs to be prosecuted from the people. I think there's so much distractions with the police reform that we don't realize we need to band together to sue this nation. Now, if you try to sue the nation, who's going to reinforce it if America says, I'm not paying reparations? If America don't act right, that's the other problem. We have to ban and find other nations as a people who will actually act on our behalf. That's hard to do because America done bullied so many nations. Don't nobody want to seem to go against America. We are so divided on so many platforms, so distracted. And let's be real, a lot of people are content. The bourgeois, intelligent contentment of the way things are, but still talking about what need to change. Hell no, it ain't gonna change. America only understand one thing: bloodshed. British against the British, bloodshed. And unless we ready to do some bloodshedding, we're gonna keep talking. And we gotta unify amongst all colors, black, white. We all have to come together to prosecute this nation as a whole, and then we ain't gotta worry about police reform because the whole platform will be corrected. That's all I had to say on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I don't think we're far from bloodshed. I think back in May, June, after George Floyd, you had a lot of people come together, and there was some bloodshed then. And I think in November, depending on how this election goes, I think America is actually approaching some kind of civil war, especially if Trump loses, because I think his followers will be enraged, and there will be bloodshed. There's going to be conflict. I think the period we're in right now reminds me a lot of the militant abolitionist movement before the Civil War, Bleeding Kansas, when abolitionists and slave owners were fighting over that soil, determining whether it would be free or slave. You know, and then President Lincoln talked about a divided house cannot stand, that the nation was going to become all slave or all free. And I think we actually ended up partially free because you had the 13th Amendment that only allowed freedom unless you had a felony. So it allowed slavery to continue in the form of the prison industrial complex. So I think the nation's, I think you're absolutely right. The nation right now is terribly divided. We're actually, I think, in the midst of a potentially revolutionary period. I think bloodshed is imminent, but I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know how it's going to go. It depends on the people. So capitalism ultimately creates the contradictions that leads to its own demise. I think America is a nation that's actually falling apart.
Wow, that's deep. Y'all shedding a lot of light tonight. So, wow. Definitely appreciate everybody sharing and everything. Is everybody ready for me to bring up my next guest and we can continue on the flow? Is everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody say something?
No, go.
Oh, okay. All right, so my next guest, I'm going to bring up Stephon's Clark, beautiful grandmother. I call her my beautiful Shero. So I'm going to bring her up, Miss Thompson, up next. So, mic check.
Mike, check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
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 Don't forget to unmute yourself. Still muted.
Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you to Wanda Beautiful Queen for allowing me to be on here again tonight. I'm honored to be on the show all the time. Like she said, my daughter wrote this poem, and she wanted me to read it in Washington, D.C. while I was there. And I didn't get to read it. Reverend Sharpton and them, they had their families that was there, and so it was really hot. So I told my daughter I couldn't read it, so we got on the van to go back to the hotel, and I was with Michael Brown's mother. There was a whole lot of families that was there. I can't remember everybody's name right now, but she said, "I want you to read it now." And I said, "Are you guys sure?" And it was about 8 of us on there. It was a big, large band. And so I started reading it, and I started crying. So if I start crying, it was just very powerful that my daughter wrote, and I am so proud of her. So I will start to read it right now. I also have a dream, just like Martin Luther King. I also have a dream. I have a dream that not one more of our babies will be killed by the police. I have a dream that when they are dealing with the police, our babies leave the situation alive and breathing. I have a dream that the policing in our communities be done by people who look like you and me. I also have a dream that one day the district attorney and the police will work hand in hand to protect and serve the people who look like you and me. I have a dream that Black lives matter, that brown lives matter, that all lives matter, to more than just you and me. And as I look into the multitude of people here today, I realize Martin Luther King's dream has manifested itself by the voices and actions of you and me. I realize it's okay for a grandmother to have a dream. It's okay for her to have a dream. It's okay for sisters and brothers to have a dream. It's okay for you to dream. We have to dream in order for God to put purpose in our lives. In order to change, we have to work at manifesting our dreams into our realities. We have to march and stand and sit and speak. We have to take action. We enslave us. So in closing, I'd like to everyone to take a moment of silence to honor the lives of my grandson, Stephon Clark, and all of the other children stolen from us by the police. And that's it. That's my daughter's dream and my dream and our dreams. Sorry, you guys.
No, that was beautiful. Oh my God, that was so beautiful. That was beautiful.
But still fighting out here for justice. And I was looking on CNN today with Breonna Taylor. They seem like they still don't want him charged. They got one, but he's only charged with a third degree. I mean, 3 accounts, and it's not like first degree murder. It's like they still defended. It's like they're not getting justice. And I mean, it's all of our families, people all over the United States. It's crazy because no one is not. Now they're fighting even with George Floyd, his case. They coming up with all kind of stuff just to justify the. And I'm just tired of it. I know God has the last say so I just got to keep my trust in Him, and keep fighting. And that's what my goal is, to keep fighting and fight till the day I die. For all, not just for my breast, all. And I just pray to God that they bring all these cases back. We get back, they all be recalled, because this is ridiculous that we already suffering through this virus, and we're suffering through so much and we're hurting. People just don't know. I mean, even the ones that haven't lost no one, but you out there still hurting. Everybody, no one's perfect. Everybody's hurting in this situation now of this world. So that's all my is that I thank you for letting me be on here, and I am honored. And everyone, thank you.
Thank you, my queen. Thank you so much. Do anybody on the panel want to ask our beautiful queen anything, or give her any compliments? Make any comments?
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead, Boone.
Go ahead, Brian.
My question, do you still have the Stephon Clark Sundays? And how is that going?
Yeah, still have them every Sunday. And you know the Zoom name? My grandson is here with me. Okay, well, the password is solved, but it's on Facebook. It's on Facebook every Sunday. It's on there. The password is solved 1, and I love that because it's capital SOLV, like in Victor E, number 1. Look on my phone and see if you see her. Yeah, my daughter still having Stephon every Sunday. Last Sunday they had church but they was still in the office having her Stephon Clark. Did you get it? Okay. Matter of fact, I posted on Tawana's page, and then you can look on there, but it is on there every Sunday. She let everyone to join the meeting. So I'll put it on her page, and you can look at it there. Or else I can't send the message.
Yeah, so make sure you send me that, and just know that we don't. And I want to let everybody know we're on a 3-hour time distance thing. So yeah, so we'll definitely join you. Anybody else want to give my sis any questions, comments, or compliments?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. First, I'd like to apologize that you didn't get to say that beautiful poem in D.C. because I was definitely there. Al Sharpton and Jamal Brown, but I'm a whole nother dude. But I want to first say, I don't, the strength that y'all have, I mean, you, Tawanda, I just want y'all to know that if y'all think that y'all like the she-wolves, I mean, we don't, I mean, it's nothing we could actually say as a fan that we can lose. I mean, you could lose a Harley Davidson and $1 million, and it still ain't for what y'all lost in y'all chest and some men or some other lost would think they know. My mother lost my older sister to murder, and still I just look at y'all, and there's nothing we can do. We do see y'all, like Tawanda do, we just say, because I got people in your town too. I got people right where you at and you don't even know it. A lot of times y'all hesitate to give us a call and not just say, don't hesitate or worry about that, what's going to happen. The people got a frontline team. They just don't use them. Repeat that. It is a frontliner team out here to govern all of us, do what we do. We just don't, people don't use them like Brother Marcus Garvey was talking about. So in very city, the work that you are doing is very powerful. I just need to call Tawanda so I can get on the big phone to make sure I can do what we are able to do for you. All the most in your backyard. That's all I'm going to say. So you are all okay. We all we got, we all we need. And again, you strong, we strong. And if anything not right out there, like I said, it's only a cream and a drop of the way. We both over.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So actually, I did kind of have a question. I think we're really blessed to have the long-lived ones in our lives, and with the perspective that you have from the experience of the time that you've lived, do you feel deep down inside, when you look around, that we have made any progress in society when it comes to eradicating the genocide of Black bodies?
Be honest. I mean, in my case, I can't speak for everyone else, but I have started a Blessed Child Association neighborhood in honor of my grandson. I have provided safety for the city to put for the elderly that lived here over 50 years to put speed bumps because a lot has happened. A young lady got killed. A young man got killed not too far from my backyard, and we're fighting for their family too. It was a community violence, and I'm starting a small garden for my grandkids. My great-granddaughter starting at 2 years old on up to grow food, start growing some food, their own little pot. And it has changed me as only they help me be stronger to realize that help the children to stay closer to home. They help grow because there's so much going on out here. And it's going all over the world. And so now my daughter has opened up a Stephon Clark Foundation, and they have a little museum, they have healing, they have psychiatrists, they have a beauty salon. They're trying to get young men to come out and in the communities to have our own policing. So it has a change on a lot of people have, just like Tawana, she started this and this is all over.
Hello?
So it's a lot of things that came out positive. And the change of the law that ABCs, it's still not really changed because they still put. So
yes.
Is that the only
Can
thing
you
I
hear me?
said is us getting together to keep working together. That's the only change I see.
And I want to answer that question too. So like, it has been a lot of change, but it still is a whole lot. It's almost one of those things. We won the battle, but we still haven't won the war. So you do see slight change. Like, we're different. We're changing things. We're making a difference in a lot of things. Like, believe it or not, even if it's a small change, whereas though you had people that were afraid to even go up against the oppressors, such as the police departments and state's attorney's office,
Right
but
there.
they see us. They watch us on a peaceful note, how we do it, and they start opening up. Each one teach one, so it's definitely changed, but it's a whole lot of change that we definitely need to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of change that we have did, but it's a whole lot of changing of things that we definitely need to do. So, yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I totally agree, Tamara. There's definitely a lot more. I hope you heard me.
Thank
Can
you
you
for
hear me?
answering my question. I appreciate it, both of you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
And
you're
Sister
welcome.
Queen, I don't know if you know, but your mic is, I'm not your mic, your camera's off. I can't see you. Oh, I see you now. I can see you now. Yeah, I can see you. Okay, cool. Well, do anybody else have any more questions before I bring up my next guest? All right, so I'm going to move on quickly. I'm going to bring up Marcus Garvey, and then followed by him, the poet. We definitely need some good spoken words. So I'm going to bring up Marcus Garvey. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mike,
Check.
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 So,
Mic check.
just so everybody know, my name is Mosiah. They call me Marcus Garvey. That's like a nickname of mine. But my name is Mosiah, which was Marcus Garvey's middle name. Okay, so the flag behind me, as African Americans especially should know, is your flag, made in 1920, because you didn't have a flag. You still don't have a flag if you are American, and you don't associate with any other nation or any other country. If all you know is the red, white, and blue, then you carrying your enslaver's flag. You know, the American flag was the British against the British, you know, for their freedom.
Your camera is currently off, brother.
Yeah. Say it again?
I said your camera is currently off.
Oh, my camera off?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I see myself.
There you go.
Can you see me
Yep.
now?
Now you're good. Just want to make sure people get that flag.
Say it again?
I said I just want to make sure people can see that flag.
Oh yeah. So, and this the one got the African continent outlined on it. The original one didn't have no continent outlined on it. It was just red, black, and green. Anyway, again, 1920, this flag was made by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He came to America from Jamaica, and he came here to meet Booker T. Washington, who was also a mover and shaker, prominent in his time and his days in the early 20th century. And when Marcus Garvey came here, he saw the devastated state of the black people here, which still is the same today. And he created this flag. They had a whole convention called the Universal Declaration Rights of the Negro People. It was a convention in New York where people came from all across the world for this convention to basically start our own Declaration of Independence as a people. So it didn't matter, you was Christian, Islam, whatever you were. If you were black, and especially an African American, this was your starting point. We've lost the starting point. We've lost that work, a lot of us, because we've been so exploited since 1920 up to today, on purpose by distractions, that we don't even know that we already have our own nation here in this country that will actually put the platform down for us to establish our own. So, however, anyway, the red represent the blood of our ancestors. The black represent the man and the woman, the family, the original family. And then the green represents the land, particularly in Africa, because Africa is the cradle rock of civilization. It holds 30% of all basically main minerals, resources in the earth in Africa. And that's where everybody want to go. They've been exploiting Africa. Excuse me. They've been exploiting Africa since they discovered Africa. They're still in Africa today. Africa obviously is very valuable, but that's where the melanated man and woman thrive best. So this flag, it builds what we call nationhood. And when we say nationhood, what we're saying is the African American here in America is lost. Okay, we're lost. We've been spoon-fed a bunch of junk, a bunch of crap. Our media has been infiltrated. Our culture has been infiltrated. Our fashion has been infiltrated. You've been giving your fashion most likely by somebody that don't care about you. You know, the Jews, because mostly the Jews is all up in our culture. They're in our music. They're in everything that they don't belong in, even though they don't wear that. They don't wear how we wear. They don't talk how we talk. They don't eat how we eat. But they continuously advocate for us to act foolish, kill each other, think we kill each other, and believe that's the only thing we should do. So I advocate all African Americans to get away from red, white, and blue. Find yourself a UNIA division or go to the Moors, but find yourself a way to get yourself a red, black, and green flag. Learn the flag. Learn the political education of the flag. Ujima People's Progress Party here in Baltimore City, Maryland. Teach political education. You can look them up on Facebook. Just look up Ujima People's Progress Party on Facebook, and you will get educated. That's the first thing about change. Before we want to talk about changing America, changing the police, changing your neighbor, you need to change yourself. All right. If you feel like you don't have no protection, if you feel like America's not for you, then you need to be finding other means of representation. And that's that. African American is what? Where are you from? Maryland? But if you're a European, you say I'm German because your family is from Germany. You say I'm Italian because your family is from Italy. You say I'm Russian because your family is from Russia. Where's the African American? Oh, I'm from Maryland. Okay, what's the background of Maryland? Enslavement. If I was black. So I emphasize for all so-called African Americans and black people to learn nationhood. That's how we come together. Learn nationhood. My second thing is, my whole advocate, my life is dedicated towards teaching my people, which I mean melanated people, who they are, where they came from, their greatness, going beyond what America tries to teach us. So every Sunday I dedicate my life to doing red, black, and green 100-foot human flags, which is a hands-on activity for children and family members to come out, build this flag, and make a statement to white supremacy, racism, contentment, and all of those things that affect us every day. And when we build these flags, we build them in the most controversial places that we can build them. We build them on Federal Hill, which is the bourgeois, rich, comfy community in Baltimore. We'll build them in Patterson Park. We'll build them in front of City Hall. We doing whatever we need to, because the point is to build consciousness and pride. All right. This thing ain't about separation. We're not trying to separate. We're trying to uplift. And me personally, until I see, white people swarming my community, because I live in the heart of Baltimore. I'm on North Avenue in Druid Hill. Until I see white people swarming my communities, throwing jobs, throwing money, throwing everything, I'm going for people who look like me first, because they need rescuing. Now, I'm not saying that white people are not out here trying to help black people and that they're not doing, some people aren't doing a good job, because obviously people on here are white, and you've been helping the sister for a very long time and committed and probably doing better than a lot of black people. But you gotta understand, we have a mental illness inflicted upon us because we are a people, again, 157 years from Emancipation Proclamation, still haven't received reparations. And you can be a Jew and got reparations in 5 years. We built this damn nation, been in enslavement for 200 years, and we are still trying to thrive in the after-post state of slavery. So we are an amazing people for us to still be here today, thriving, even though we sick, but thriving, having families, being CEOs, having our own businesses, still here, and really America should be so grateful to that fake God that we ain't burnt this thing down and did the same thing that the British did to this nation and to these people, and the Portuguese and the Spanish and all of them. I ain't taking away from Africa to say Africa don't have no issues either, because Africa's got a lot to do with the slave trade. But what I'm saying is this: African Americans, we have to learn nationhood. Forget your religion, if you Christian, Muslim, whatever. This government don't care about what your religion is. They care about your color. So we have to put to the side our religion and realize that we are the #1 targeted in the world, and that is what makes us brothers and sisters. That's what we have to do. Put your religion in the closet, private. Thank your God. Bring your God with you. But it's time for battlefield action. My last thing is I have an event. Like I said, every week I'm doing these human flags. I'll show y'all a picture of what one of them look like. This is the one we did. People always want to call me when I want to show something.
Your camera is off
This
again.
is the one we did. Huh?
Your camera is off again. There you go.
How about next?
Yep, you're good.
This is the one we did in Patterson Park. That's next to Hampstead Hill, which was where the Civil and Revolutionary War was defended here in Maryland. This is
Your camera's
the one
off again.
we did on Federal Hill.
There you go.
This is the one we did on Federal Hill. Remember, all these flags are 100 feet. This is the one we did
Your camera's off again.
in Druid Hill. I don't know what the heck is going on with this camera.
There you go.
You see me now? All right.
Yep.
So on Halloween, you know, which is the day that our children. Hello?
Yep, we can hear you. You froze, brother.
Hello?
You froze. Okay, you're back.
Messiah, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
All right. Can you see me now?
You keep going in and out.
Oh, you can't see me.
I can see you, but you keep going in and out. Your camera cuts out every couple minutes.
It might. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, as long as you can hear me, on October 31st, I'm inviting everybody to come out to Lake Montebello at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We're gonna have a Halloween vigil, which means that we want everybody that lost a loved one, no matter how, bring a picture of your loved one, and we're gonna put it on the red of the 100-foot flag that we're gonna build. All right, this never been done. Again, the red represent the blood of our ancestors. So on Halloween, we really gonna honor our ancestors, the dead. We're gonna have a party though, still gonna be for the children, plenty of candy, dancing, and all those other things. We need candy sponsors, people who want to donate candy, because we expecting well over 100 people there. This is where I want West Wednesdays to come and participate, collaborate. I'm inviting some of the victims to come and speak on change, and and just for it to be a beautiful bonding moment. So this is where, Tawanda, I'm hoping that we can collaborate on October 31st and make it more than just trick or treating for candy, but actually make it a day to remember our deceased ones and also give the children a good time at the same time. So that's all I had to share today.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for sharing, but I just want to let everybody know, like, some of the views I don't share because I do have a lot of friends that are Jews that support me, that's a part of the coalition and everything, and I think, like, bashing anybody or anything is not right because we can't win like that. We can all win together. Like, we start separating, then that shows, like, where we practice, and I believe in everything you're doing and things like that, like, with the flag, all that's good and everything, but like at the end of the day, we have to have unity, and that's among all of us. Because at the end of the day, guess what? We human. When it boils down to under this skin color, whatever religion or background or whatever, at the end of the day, everybody bleeds red blood. You get what I'm saying? It's about humanity. That's where it says for me, it's about humanity, and we are suffering people, and that's how this capitalist system wins. Because it got all these isms, these phobias, all this stuff that basically divide us up from away from being human. Whereas though I'd have had like, you know, like at some West Wednesday, I may not even have one black person even show up, and I have a bunch of Jews show up. Or I might have a bunch of black folks show up, and only, you know, like, so it varies. You get what I'm saying? Like, it varies. So to me, to have that unity, we just gotta build and teach each other. Like, we can't like beat each other down. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how they win. It's almost as if like I go on a platform and I'm on a white platform. They start talking about black folks. I'm like, hold up, skirt. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, that's all I wanted to share with you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No, thank you, and definitely thank you for sharing and all that stuff. So definitely. All right, so my next guest is going to be our brother Boom. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I done got out of the way. Before we bring up Boom, I want to bring up. I said we're gonna bring up our
Thank you.
This brother shares a lot of poems that he writes
Hello?
from his heart and everything. So we're gonna bring the poet up next. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
The floor is all yours, my brother.
Check. All right. Hello, everyone. I enjoyed the company and the insight in it. You know what I'm saying? As well. Hello. Hey. What's up, lady? How you doing? Yes. I have a piece that's titled "On Trial for Color," and this is how it goes. On trial, guilty, striving to prove innocent, life of a contender offenses, represented deeper than the skin. The detects the evidence which I show my realness. On trial for color, true on the backhand side, so live with from the inside. The judge feels my affections as prosecution put up object all the charges or claims, looking for a verdict to serve no in place of letters in my name. You see, on trial for color. Defended by a high appointed counsel. The final was the first when I was thought of. Fate rested his case as I praise my conviction on the well of my that I'm someone black and I can never a slave free on trial for color. And that piece represents that I'm living in as a black man, and surely, you know, Black Lives does as a whole lives matter. Just like before we can really say matter, we have to change the definition, and the definition in that we address each other, men, black women.
the N word, which was brought about our oppressors, which they created me as a human being. And as we look today, we see on lives, you know what I'm saying, killing, you know, more the police brutality or the police killings. You know, it was designed, you know, by our oppressors, you know what I'm saying, to, they left us as a people misunderstanding, you know, in our plan. And that is what I'm trying to say, is being on trial for color, because man, we're pulled over by the police, and in the back of our minds, you know what I'm saying, we're just guilty, you know, before even, you know, be approached, you know, to ask for license and registration. You know, we're perceived as being guilty, you know, being on the street, and they're crossing over because they're, you know, my skin that I'm living in. And so that is the meaning of being on trial for color. You know, I'm black, and I can never change that, you know. But I think that to me, to the fact that that I can't go out into the world, you know what I'm saying, and be free. My message is to let people know that we have to change, you know, the mentality that's been upon us, that has locked us away to a way of thinking that we're free, you know. So to give you a little, you know, I've been institutionalized, you know, I've been judged, civilized, you know, because of my skin, you know. It the breaks that people from different nationality have been able to get, you know, just because of my skin, you know. But I want to raise the awareness. I thank you for allowing me to this platform and be able to express, you know, what's really going on, you know, and to join the fight for our rights, you know. As a black man, we do have those constitutional rights, you know. And as I speak, as far as constitutional rights, you know, we have to, in this, I would like to say, we need to form our black constitution, rebuild our black resolution, stop killing our own black generation, generate our nation to its dedication to make education instead of classifications. The rate by which you earn need not be compared to less more valuable, and need not be less that you know. The territory and authority may be exercised to enforce the black jurisdiction of our state of mind. And that's the key in our state of mind. You know, we have to govern our own, you know what I'm saying, our own, bring ourselves up from the level of poverty, and think of ourselves more than just, you know, that they could just put whips, you know, on my back and make me do this and make me do that. You know, that you know, the voluntary mindset that they have upon us. And as you see that we're marching in the streets, we're standing up, we're looking back, you know, for those that, you know what I'm saying, and advocated for us to come this far. So that is the type of things that I write about, you know, that are real to me, you know, through my struggle. And, you know, we all go through these struggles of trying to live and trying to survive, you know, and having in which I live. a tailor's boat in this complexion of skin, woven fabric from which illuminates the soul that was birthed within. From its source, I was to be known as. So by having this struggle, this my brother, I have discovered the veil, black-folded conditions put brothers in no air conditions, no projects, hot as hell. Society, parole can bound minds to prejudice. By me having this color, from where I come from, I must remember, black is black. My folks, 5-0 backhand side, how we live and how we survive. Black is black. Feel I got your back. So by me having this color, just wanted to tell to all my brothers and sisters, having this color is a beautiful thing. So never be ashamed. And that peace. And I turn it back over to my sister.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for saying that.
for having me, bro, for
Appreciate it.
listening.
Yeah, so we further do for time's sake. I'm gonna bring my brother Boom Boy, Mike Chuck.
Right, check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Check. Definitely was definitely a lot. I mean, I know where to begin, but I don't know where to end. But I'm saying that everything that was on this phone is like
We can barely hear you. Boom.
Muted.
Boom. Boom, you got a lot of info in the background. Check your phone or something, because we can barely hear you. And we don't want to miss these words of wisdom.
You hear me now?
Much clearer.
Alright. What I'm gonna say real quick is everything that we heard on this phone is lame. But everybody feeling one thing is what we call, I guess we would say, pain or angst or whatever. But what I wanted to say, I mean, I don't know how everybody would see this, but my mother being a Black Panther, I never ever seen the world no different than what y'all may see right now. From 5 years old, I've always known the work that we had to do. I didn't watch TV until I was 12 years old. We didn't go outside. We didn't have any footballs and basketballs because my mother knew that we was at war. I was born in 1974. So there's a lot of people on this phone maybe a little older than me, a little younger than me. And if you had a football, then that was just a little bit of time that maybe you thought, or you just had a breeze that it was nothing going on in this thing called America. I have been Black for 47 years. I have been oppressed for 47 years. I know exactly what I am. I never was lied to by my mom and my dad. I have a mother and a dad. The way I talk, the way I know what I know may sound racist, may sound, well, go back to Africa is what I was told many a time when many of the white people that told me that should have took their ass back to Europe. I know the truth, and I have no problem. Now, what my sister Tawanda said, there's a thing that's called love that many don't know what it. We have a total misconception of what this love thing is. If we knew what love was only, we wouldn't even be talking about nation building. We wouldn't be talking about police brutality. Love in America is selfish. I repeat that. When you got the America that we know right now under this war, right now, I know again in this nation that we have people that don't know their neighbor to the left and right of them in their own neighborhood, but you're coming at me about unity. You see what I'm saying? So all white ain't white, I taught y'all that. All black ain't black, I taught y'all that. All Asian ain't Asian, I taught y'all that. When y'all coming at me with skin tone, I can show you 90% of your problems. Everybody in here, there's white people in here that don't even like white people.
Y'all getting church for free on the Wednesday. Church for free on the Wednesday.
you like a lot of people, but guess what? I'm gonna tell everybody on this phone. What you don't like in people is what you don't like in yourself. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I will say this. My family ain't never not had money. My family was sharecroppers. We actually had blacks on our plantation. And again, we was racist. You said we needed money, and you said we could only if we had power. The Nevadons had power since my grandfather was born in 1900, 1996. He died. We were sharecroppers in Midland, Virginia, and I still got property there right now. Racism was all in my family. My generation in 1974, we came to the plantation of the Nevadons. My name is Nevadon now. In 1974, my grandfather got the plantation's name off. So I say all these things to say, like my brother Marcus Garvey said, like if you don't know who you are, you yelling at Harriet Tubman, but you don't know half of the Quakers help Harriet Tubman get her work done. You don't know that. You don't know she was a Moor. You don't know her name wasn't Harriet Tubman. All these things, but everybody want reparations and freedom, and you don't, like my brother said, know who you are. What's your existence? If you are, Italian, then your people came over here and really got dealt with. If you're a German or whatever, Donald Trump is a German, many don't know. So everything that's going on, what are y'all Americans expecting? A German supposed to Nazi your ass out? Like, I don't understand. But you got to know DNA. You got to know his grandfather was a pimp and he got kicked out of Germany for dope. So why are you blaming Donald Trump? It's just like our community. We got grandfathers on the corner getting dope from the 14-year-old, but we don't want to talk about that, but we want unity. Last time I checked, blacks leaving out of Baltimore away from blacks. Let's talk. So you can pipe all to the mule all you want. Right now, I'm sitting here with 2 legislative papers right now that if I asked about Baltimore was HB 1203, they wouldn't even know. And it's about some of the concerns that's on this phone right now. If you don't even know how to read legislation, why are you even in the fight? There's a lot of homework to do that my mom and dad and all of them were Panthers. That was a political move. The world may have y'all thinking it was something else. But last time I checked, it was white Panthers, black Panthers, Chinese Panthers, Indonesian Panthers, and that was the threat. It wasn't a threat because some black dudes walked down the street with a leather coat. That wasn't it. Once whites and blacks and all the oppressed got together, that was the threat. As Elijah Muhammad said, unity is as strong as an atomic bomb. So again, we might want to get our people skills together before we get our money together. Because if you got a bad character, I'm not going to like you anyway, and I might be the first to blow your brains out on the front line. Because it's very dangerous out here. It's very, this race had some of the most turncoat Negropeans right here in Baltimore City. You just had 4 black women sell your own black people out. So you really can't talk white, this, white, black to me when more black people use this white system against their own people instead of correcting it because of the benefits. You don't get out Woodlawn and you don't get out Owens Mills by playing hopscotch. You got to do some dirty work. Everybody on this phone know that. Everybody. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a better pursuit of happiness, but you do not stand on the backs of others or someone else's shoulder or try to play the white card, black card, because again, the number 1 card that I'm looking for is a nationality card out of the melanated people, which are called blacks, so that we can actually get on board. There is no money, there is no compensation for the victimization of this thing called what we call black. Because again, there's people on this phone that doesn't have hue, but each one of these, white people we call on this phone right now know their nationality. Again, I'll ask all the blacks on here, what's your nationality? And you're not going to know, and you're wondering what's going on with you. I'm just saying. You might want to look at where about integration or regentrification when the last time I checked, our white grandmothers was going up in Jewish neighborhoods integrating them. Yeah, that's smoke. Yeah, you didn't get up Liberty Heights because you paid to get up there. You integrated a Jewish neighborhood. You integrated White Marsh. Why didn't you form a little Africa back in 1960 and maybe me and Marcus Garvey wouldn't be dealing with what we were dealing with instead of integrating other people's communities? Black Baltimore. So you know, it's a lot of homework, and it's only two spirits. There's no color in my city. You either the higher self or you a devil. There is no color on that. Let's stop playing the games, because everybody on here, I see some husbands and wives. Y'all done had a many a battle in y'all life where y'all ain't like each other, and some hate was going on and love was going on. So let's not play the victimizational, you owe me, I owe you. What it is when the real humans please stand up. That's what we looking for. Like, human beings would not let Penn North look the way it looked. Human beings would not let, you know, the conditions that we look at in Penn. I can go right outside right now and show you Gilmore Homes, because I'm down here where I belong in Gilmore Homes right now, helping the, you know, the fallen, like I said I was going to do since Freddie Gray. I'm down here right now, you know, in what we would call the black apartheid. But again, I ask a lot of people who try to, you know, say they're fighting for blacks or fighting for the low guy. Once you have the low guy with you, instead of benefiting off them, like everybody always talk about poor people. Well, what does a poor person look like? Because when I was young, I didn't even know I was poor because of love. And I know a lot of people that got money but never had love, and they was poor as shit, and that, you know, because they never got love. So there's a lot of things that we have to really stand on point with about our lanes. My lane is the resurrection of the ex-offender. Marcus Garvey lane is the resurrection of the fallen man and their, you know, their culture. Tawanda's on the front lines of what she's doing. Everybody on here got a lane, and I heard someone say, has anything changed? Last time I checked in the 60s, they only had a few little Martin Luther Kings and Malcolms. Like on this phone, it's like 12 people on here that could change their own community at a drop of a dime if they wanted to. See, you got to look at stuff like that. Don't look at the governmental end. If you can't find your leader, or you can't find your spiritual advisor, or you cannot find your wisdom or elders life coach, then you are not in a community, you're not in a nation, and you are a nomad. That's what a nomad is. You just out there. And who fault it's that would be our individual faults, because if a dude from prison, America's Most Wanted, with a GED, can come out to touch some of the most prominent, powerful people in the United States, and I'm sitting here with the know-it-alls who know everything in colleges, scratching their head, we need to start, you know, honoring each and every one of our perfections to get it done. But until then, the focus right now is off balance. It shouldn't be in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It shouldn't be at Brandon Scott's. It should be right in our homes and right in our networks of continue to make, you know, ourselves better as we make Baltimore. Just focus on Baltimore, as Baltimore was what I call the vagina of the slave trade, where all of the melanated people in America, I don't live in America, I live in America, was spread all out. So you got to understand that Baltimore has a curse on it that cannot be lifted. I will repeat that. And you have to be a spiritual person in Baltimore if you were to get any salvation divinely, because my city has a curse on it that will never be lifted, because of course the atrocities that has been done and continuously be done by black people today, which makes it even worse. So as we do say what we say in our racism, let me tell you, classism has destroyed many a nation more than racism, because you got blacks right now, Captain Pew and many of them, that if they didn't get caught, they would have never came back to our communities to give us the bounce check. Thank y'all.
Thank you, my brother. All right, so we moving and grooving, but for time's sake, I want to check in with our brother Brian to see if he has that same list, and I also want to check in with Uncle Bill to see if he has that same police brutality list, the victims list that was used by law enforcement officers. So, start with Brian. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Tawana. Thank you. I do have a list. Thankfully, it's a short list this week. But I just wanted to take a quick moment to talk a little bit about the Breonna Taylor verdict that came down. because it shows, in some ways, the way that race, and I don't know that it's conscious, but it's certainly, race is still a guiding principle in our legal system. The person who's charged for Breonna Taylor's case was charged for essentially reckless endangerment. He got 3 counts, and that was because 3 bullets went into the house next door to hers. No matter about the number of bullets that went into her, but the 3 bullets went into the house, the apartment next door, where they have 3 white people. And so this man was actually charged with recklessly endangering the lives of her white next door neighbors.
Wow.
But he was not charged. 5 other bullets went into another apartment upstairs over her apartment. He was not charged with those 5 bullets. And the people who lived in that apartment upstairs were black people.
Wow.
So this is just the way that racism continues to permeate this. It's not the bullets that went into her. It's not the bullets that went into that endangered the people upstairs. It's the bullets that endangered the white people that are going to be punished. So that's just, one of those things that I just have to kind of put out there because it always amazes me. The things that the things you see when you don't have a grenade. But so our list for Baltimore this week in the struggle against the violent empire that runs America and most of the rest of the world. Call it capitalism, call it what you want to. This week in Baltimore, 2 lives were lost. And so if you can just, Mike, check their names back to me, I would appreciate. Vincent McCoy, 52.
Vincent McCoy, 52.
Vincent McCoy, 52.
Melvin Thompson, 39.
Melvin Thompson, 39.
Thompson, 39.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brown, I got a quick question too. You mean to tell me so the officer that's charged, he's not even actually too much for Breonna Taylor? Because I didn't get a chance to read it.
No.
Having a crazy day. So he's not
They
even
were
charged.
all cleared. They were all cleared for the shooting of Breonna Taylor. That was called a justified shooting.
I'm glad you cleared that up for me, because here I go thinking he got the weakest charge, and I'm going to make sure I told Stephon Clark Raymond to let her know that. Because I'm thinking shit to hop off. That is disgusting. That really just picked me completely off. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. Uncle Bill, do you have that sad list as well?
I do. They updated it recently. This is the list of people who've lately been killed by police around the United States. So I have 2 weeks of victims whose names I'd like to honor, starting with September the 9th. So on that day in Kentucky, at 47 years old, and if you could repeat the name to me to honor all these people who've been lost to police violence. In Kentucky, 47 years old, Chad Busby.
Chad Busby.
Also on that same date in Colorado, 41 years old, Antonio Blackbear.
Antonio Blackbear.
Following day on September the 10th in Georgia, Robert Samuel Craig Lusk, 18 years old.
Robert Samuel Craig Lusk.
You did great with his name. Long name. Lost on the same day in North Carolina, no age given, Robert Ray Dawes.
Robert Ray Dawes.
Robert Ray Dawes.
Still on the same day in Tennessee, 49 years old, also killed by police, Jonathan Darsaw.
Jonathan Darsaw.
Jonathan Darsaw.
In California on that day, an unidentified man was killed. Fortunately, we don't have his name. Still on the same day in North Carolina, at 48 years old, Glenn Alvin Eldridge.
Glenn Alvin Eldridge.
Glenn Alvin Eldridge.
In the state of Washington, the next day, September 11th, 31 years old, killed by police, Joshua Clayton Brandt.
Joshua Clayton Brown.
The following day, September the 12th, in California, 88 years old, Robert Coleman.
Robert Coleman.
Same day in Colorado, a man whose age is not included, Christopher Escobedo. In South Carolina, on the same day, a man was killed by the police, but his name is not yet known. In Pennsylvania, the following day, September 13th, 27 years old, Ricardo Munoz.
Ricardo Munoz.
On the 15th of September, in Utah, 27-year-old Clay Reynolds.
Clay Reynolds.
In Colorado, on the same day, a man was killed by police, but his name has not yet been published. Also on that day in Texas, 55 years old, Darrell Zamol.
Darrell Zamol.
On the 17th of September in Florida, 37-year-old Nicholas Morales Besania.
Nicholas Morales Besania.
IA is Iowa, am I right?
Yes.
In Iowa, 45 years old, killed by police, Scott Heisler.
Scott Heisler.
On September the 19th in Georgia, 33-year-old Charles Eric Moses.
Charles Eric Moses.
On the 20th in the state of Washington, a 39-year-old female, name not yet known. On the 21st in Montana, 26-year-old Patches Holmes.
Patches Holmes.
In Arizona, on the same date, the 21st, a man whose age is not known and his name is not known. In Georgia, on the 21st, 28-year-old Darian Bell. And finally, on the 22nd, which is 2 days ago, no, 1 day ago, in the state of New York, 30 years old, killed by police, Jeffrey Blunt. And I'd like to just respond to a couple of the remarks made by Messiah earlier. I think I'm in full agreement that we got to get people to move away from the red, white, and blue, because a lot of horrible things have been done in the nationalism and the wars with those colors. And I think that the history of greatness from Africa is certainly accurate. Imhotep, for example, was, I think, 4,000 or 4,500 years ago, the first poet, engineer, and architect known by name in the history of the world, long before what they call the Golden Age of ancient Greece. 2,500 years before the Golden Age of ancient Greece. But I do have a little disagreement with Messiah about one thing. I think nations exist and include rich and poor. So here's a brief story. I had a friend from Mali in West Africa, and he left to study when it was still a French colony. He didn't get back for about 12 years. And when he finally went back, they had achieved their independence, and he was looking forward to a far better place with more equality. But what he discovered was that the African ruling class was different from the former French ruling class, in the sense that at least the French pretended they cared about the poor, but the new African ruling class didn't. And so I think nations always have a rich and a poor, and we have to be careful who we unite with. I don't think we should unite with the capitalists and the rich, because their goal, no matter what nation it is, their goal is to exploit us. So I just wanted to say that. I have a lot of respect for you, Messiah, but we have a little disagreement.
And I like to add something to what you just said too, though. We have to understand the aftermath of colonialization, the aftermath of it after they come in your country, stolen your resources, brainwashed your people wind up becoming them. So the aftermath of them getting their independence was most likely after they've already been exploited and brainwashed. So a lot of African nations don't do right now because they learn from their masters.
Always good to talk with you, Messiah.
That's a good point.
Messiah, I got a quick question. So if any of us want to donate candy, how can we reach you to donate like some candy? Want to make donations?
or you can just well, I would say you could bring the candy on the same date at Lake Montebello at the event.
Okay.
That's what I was really hoping for. But I mean, yeah, you know, ahead of time, we got some time, but you can just call me or email me, mosiahfit@gmail.com. I prefer direct communication.
Okay.
But that's either way. I mean, we know how to reach each other too, right, Tawan?
Yes, absolutely. You got my personal. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Well, do any of the West family want to speak and share anything before we wrap up? And I thank everybody. I want to make my final thoughts and thank everybody. Do anybody else want to share any announcements or anything?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that we have a campaign to bring charges against Cop Ruiz. We know of at least 6 cases where he was engaged in racial profiling, terrorism, brutality, and in the case of Tyrone, murder. And we've had, I think, about 75 people now have written letters to Marilyn Mosby calling for the prosecution of Ruiz. So if you haven't written a letter yet and you're watching this program, it would be wonderful if you could do that. And we're going to have a video coming out soon that explain these 6 cases. And we're serious about this case. We want him off the streets. We want to stop the harm that he's been doing.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. And thank you for putting together that incredible, powerful video that we will be sharing with people soon. Do anybody else want to make any last minute announcements before I make mine?
Go ahead, Queen.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to each and every last one of you guys for taking your time out sharing. This was a powerful, heartfelt conversation, and I never judge anyone's heart because I know at the end of the day we got a lot that's going on. As the old saying say, don't judge my heart, judge my head, because we got so much going on. So I just appreciate each and every last one of you guys for doing all the wonderful good work that you're doing in your town, city, and wherever you're doing it. I just want to thank you guys so much. And I just want to let you guys know that in the times that we're living in right now, the answer to me is only peace and love. If we let anything take that away, the peace and the love, it's only going to be a big bloody war. And that's something that I don't want. That's something that even if it happens, some things are like unpreventable. You know what I mean? You just got to roll with it. But me personally, I'm not a violent person. And I just don't repeat it. I just wish that, you know, like my brother Boone put it, everybody is in their own lane. And if we respect each other lane and just keep fighting, what beautiful world we would have, man. I'm telling you, it's not the world, it's the people, it's all the confusion that's going on. It's just so much. It's just too much that's going on. So I just want to let you know. And it really broke my heart when Brother Brian broke it down because I'm here thinking that, okay, well, at least the officer was charged with Breonna Taylor's case or whatever. But he didn't get charged for Breonna Taylor. But I'm friends with her cousin, and I saw her, she been crying all day. She's sad, and I was in my mind like, okay, well, but now I see why she was crying. Now I see why she is mad as hell. It's just like, it's just really sad. We in some real sad, horrible times. But again, peace and love will direct the way. Like, peace and love, like, that's what I'm trying to shed and spread because at the end of the day, it boils down to humanity. Like, we all may not agree with each other. We may not even all look alike, feel alike, different religions. Some have religion, some don't. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's about, like Boone said, he taught us, all black ain't black, all white ain't white, all Jew ain't Jew. So it's about the person's heart. So at the end of the day, I just want to let you guys know that we are in this thing together. And if we continuously pull together for this, what I call a system, the highway of hell, we will win. And I want to I want to I want to send some cyber hugs and cyber love out to Mom. That's Jamal Taylor's children mother. They have 4 beautiful children who is left fatherless because on Monday marks the whole year of when Jamal Taylor was assassinated. and this queen gotta live and tell her kids they don't have a father no more. Y'all don't know how that feel until it hits you. In my heart, and I'm sending cyber love to Anthony Anderson's family. I'm sending it to Marcus and his wife Nicole. I'm sending love because they just like went through their hell. I'm sending love to my sister Gina Best. Her beautiful daughter India was assassinated. A beautiful queen that served for America. And she was assassinated and left with no justice, no peace. And at the end of the day, I realized real quick, there is no justice. It's just us. And like my sister Ishtar, who lost both of her beautiful kids, Aja and Jason. She lost both of them, right? And she says every case matters. Because you know why? Every case matters. Just like Uncle Bill read all those names. We didn't even know this week. I thought it was to the point he wasn't going to start reading names. I'm like, oh my God, this happened all in a week time frame or 2 weeks. This is ridiculous. But they want us to believe that these incidents are isolated incidents. No, it's systemically happening and it's happening around the world and it needs to end. But like my brother Marcus says, it's not going to end until we end. We got to end it, y'all. And my best way is through love and like building together and just fighting this damn highway of town. So again, I want to thank my brother, Dr. Lawrence Brown. He brought it to y'all. I thank him so much for his time. I want to thank our brother Messiah, aka Marcus Garvey. I want to thank the poet. He brought it. The ones we go kind of breaking up. And it's just like when you get powerful, this technology can mess us all up. But he definitely brought the flame. And if you want to see his poems, he shared some of his poems on my page. And I'll be glad to share them, guys, with y'all again. And then also, Boom, who always brings the fire. And also, Stephon Clark's grandmother was reading that beautiful poem that Stephon Clark's mother wrote. Like, about having a dream about us all being treated equally. Just remember, there's no justice. It's just us trying to hold folks accountable. But the only way we're going to do that, we got to get to the gates of accountability. But we can't get there fighting each other, attacking each other, bloodshed. We won't make it there. We won't. We just won't. We just won't. So we got to come up with a way that we can fight in a positive way as human beings to knock this whole damn system down. I'm with it, y'all. So again, I want to thank Ben for his time for putting this together and being amazing. Like, this thing started off with him volunteering, taking away from his children to do it up with Bill. So just thank everybody. I want to thank Hillary for sending out all the emails and the Hellerback family, Pruitt, Eva, behind the scenes, and just everybody. I just want to thank each and last one of y'all. So again, I love y'all. Live to love, love to live. And there's a lot going on with me this week. I'll share the flyers. I'm doing like at least 3 to 4 panels, starting from literally I'm testifying tomorrow for our Senator Queen, Jill Carter. That's tomorrow, and you know, from there I got all these panels. I got 2 panels on Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. So I'll be sharing all that information with y'all. But again, thank y'all, and we're gonna play this piece. I hope it's the right piece. Dan, what piece are you gonna play? Because I don't want to say the wrong name and then we go out with something else. What piece are you playing?
I got Muhammad Tall's Target on My Body.
I wanted to make sure because I didn't want to say I got a target on back when you play me rapping. I'm like, what? So when you know what cool. So yeah, since tonight I closed the video of our brother was speaking about having a target on our back, and this is saying we all not only got the target on our back, but it's around in front of us. The target is our skin, and this just says if you in America and you black or brown, it shows you anytime Breonna Taylor got bullets in her body and no one was charged. But I knew the foolishness was coming when they wrote that goddamn check. They quick to write that check, just like with Freddie Gray family. They wrote that damn check and ain't checked none of the killer cops. They still walking the beat, they with immunity, living their life, but meanwhile Freddie Gray is good. They trying to do my family the same damn way. Hell with this damn system. It needs to go. But when they start writing them checks, you better believe they are not going to give you money. Because in their mind, because I remember sitting down with Kathy Pugh when she acted like she didn't remember me, but she remembered me before we got her in office. But then she sat down with breakfast and she said, "Oh, your family did get accountability. Y'all got this, that, and the third, talking about some damn money." And I had to show her a picture of my brother's hacked up damn body and ruin her eggs and toast and said, "Do this look like accountability?" So just remember, the pain is real. Just be that healing for someone. Just show love. These last days, just showing each other love. So I love you all. And remember, we got a target on our back, but something needs to be done. And we're going to take you out with this video. Thank you again. Live to love to live. Love you all. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mike,
Mic check.
The current Baltimore City Forward Ambassador. I just want to share a poem with
Mike
you.
check.
I got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me. The devil heard I got a message, so he's trying to disconnect me. The mayor said, "Do the right thing, Doc." So here I am trying to heal the hood. I brought some cameras and my consciousness and script challenging politics. Didn't need to practice, man, I swear that I was Iverson. Bedford Stuyvesant lives within them. Cops poison the streets with venom, counteract like penicillin. You see, this pen is healing, believe. He had a vision, the heat was cataclysmic. Metaphoric of the violent nature cops creating the streets. Let's take it back to Howard Beach, Southern Queens, 1986. To this day, it still makes me sick. One black man killed. They hit him with a car, he who did his dad was a cop. So the charges got dropped, robbed him of his right to live. Kill a Negro, be a hero, brother, that's just how it is. Rest in peace to Michael Griffin. But the struggle goes on, Pete. My boy Raheem, we nicknamed him Radio. His boombox is a blessing. Played his message through a stereo to our hood. An angel amplified through God's plans. I swear to God, he was God's right hand, symbolizing a black man with a message. Love and hate. Wherever one is, you're sure to find another. Just like Cain and Abel, one inclined to kill the other. Yin and yang on both hands, a combo in effect. He could embrace you with a fist, or treat you with respect. 2 slices of pizza, and I want extra cheese. Big salad, GOP, it makes no difference to me. Stuffing folks hoping our hearts and pizza down our throats, taking money out the ghetto. Us communists shouldn't meddle with the status quo. Oh, hell no. We want some brothers on the wall. You come to our neighborhoods, we eat here, and we can't get any brothers on the wall. It seems like South Pizzeria is the House of Representatives with the lack of care and cold stares. They invaded us with no fear. There's no fear in the art of war. So when I pick up my gun to protect my son, don't look at me like I'm crazy.
That's right.
Because I told you. I got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Devil heard I got a message, so he's trying to disconnect me. Nah. History repeats itself and that's just how it goes. Same way that these cops always take my brother's souls. Same thing Darren Wilson did to Mike Brown, yeah we know. Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Amadou Diallo. While silly white kids argue over who doesn't see color, look around, Billy, man, they killing on my brothers. They justify our death saying that we kill each other. Sit around, enjoy your privilege while I console my mother. No playing, my life's no joke, and that's true-ish. Same rope they hung us all, we tie our shoes with. But not today, I pray no grace be paid, cause I came to bring the change, we ain't stupid.
That's right.
Yes.
Say it, brother.
So when I pick up my gun to protect my son, don't look at me like I'm crazy. Because I told you. I got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Please protect me, got a target on my body, somebody. Anybody?
I got you.
Please.
I got you.
I got you.